never there for me. When I was struggling, you was never there, homie. My friends in the past never really cared for me. I felt so cold, all alone, doing things on my own. And this was every day, worked all night, so mom wouldn't pay. Crazy bills on the mind made a tough day feel even worse. I had nobody to make the feelings reverse. This life I'm living is Circe, and I was the first son in college, working part-time to get my car fixed. It put dents in my pockets. Know what I'm trying to say is, I depended on dudes for mad shit, but they didn't come through for half of it. So the fact is, we all actors in this movie of life.
Roland.
Alright, so I have Carmen Morales here.
What's up?
You're what, comedian?
Yeah.
Actress?
Sure.
Is that what you do?
All of it.
Social media influencer? Or is that, you have to get at a certain point before you're a social media influencer?
I don't think I'm an influencer. I think if people, I'm just tweeting the things now that are going to incriminate me later. That's what I would say as far as my
Right.
my social media influences.
No, we know each other for a long time.
At least like 15 years.
So it was like ninth grade, right?
Something like that. Yeah, for you, ninth grade.
You took me to my my first NSYNC concert.
I didn't know we were gonna start the show off by embarrassing me.
Yeah,
no, it was great. It was a great time.
I like Justin Timberlake.
It was a great time. I had a great time. That's the only time I ever saw them, though.
Okay.
I don't think I'd ever pay that kind of money again. But.
No, I saw Justin when he went solo. Mm-hmm. That was my senior year, but I think we went my freshman year of high school. We did drama and stuff together.
Yep.
And you're
theater together.
And now you're in LA.
And now I'm in LA.
How long have you been up here?
Like 5.5 months, almost 6 months.
How's it going? That's my roommate. Don't mind that. I mean, we're in my room. You know, so like
it's nice. It's fun. It's like really intimate and vulnerable to talk to you about struggling while I'm looking at the place you sleep.
Right. That's my bed. See, my roommate's doing the dishes. We're just gonna do the damn thing.
Yeah.
Just kind of just ignore all that stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, you've been out here for 6 months.
6 months, and I've enjoyed it. I've encountered some hardships, but I'm making it work. I'm currently living in a studio apartment in bunk beds with another grown woman, so I got that going for me, you know.
Yeah. But
we make it work. It's pretty adorable, you know.
And like moving out here, like your first year, you have that fire. Like is it still like that? I mean, after 6 months, you're like, I'm gonna move to Los Angeles. I'm gonna kick Los Angeles in the ass. Is that like, or did you come out here with like realistic expectation, like, no, this is gonna be a grind, and I'm gonna have to work really hard?
I thought it was gonna be a marathon for sure. I didn't think it was gonna be like a get rich quick scheme for sure, you know. But I've always kind of been grinding anyways. Like, this has been a grind since the beginning, so it's just a different grind.
Yeah.
Here.
No, because I when I first started acting, you just started doing comedy. You were doing stuff in Orlando at Bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
You were doing open mics
doing comedy in a hotel lounge.
Right, yeah. And like I would go with you, and I'd be the guy that does not go on stage, or like, who's that guy? What is he doing here?
Right, because we're so not used to people coming to watch us. It's normally just our own kind.
Wait, you're not? Are you a comic? No.
You're not a comic?
No.
Why would you be watching comedy then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most times it's just tagging along with you.
But that's fun. Like, that was the thing I saw Louis C.K. recently talking about how he misses that.
Yeah.
So I try to just enjoy all of this. Like, it's still fun. Like, it's still fun.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So being a comedian, like a professional comedian, is like being poor but getting to do rich people shit. You know? Yep. Like, I went to Japan, but I never had the money to go to Japan ever. Right. You know?
Right. That's right. You did stuff for the troops, didn't you?
Yeah, for a bunch of Marines.
What was that like? Like, I mean, are they like hitting on you and shit? Like, because I mean, they don't see women, right?
I mean, the odds were definitely in my favor. You know, it was like 30-1, so I definitely got hotter just by statistics. That law of supply and demand, absolutely. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was pretty cool. We went to South Korea, mainland Japan, and Okinawa, and I saw some of the most gorgeous things I would have never been able to afford to go see.
Yeah, for sure.
all while having maybe like a couple $100 in my bank account. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That's what's really funny about it.
As far as like, because I don't know anything about comedy. I really don't. Like, I have a respect for like how when you see someone up there and they're being really honest and they have a voice, like I can recognize that. Like, oh, that person's really confident with himself.
Well, I tried to do enough stand-up, bad stand-up and good stand-up. I think you could make the.
And so is it like getting gigs based off of how much time you have, right? Like how much material you have, like.
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, that would decipher which position you would play. Like, you have the host, like in a standard stand-up situation, you would have like a host and then an opener or a feature, and then you'd have a headliner.
Right.
And it's usually like anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, 20 to 30, and then 45 to an hour.
Where are you at? You're headlining, right? I mean, you're headlining.
I do both. Like because I don't have a lot of TV credits.
Right, and so that's important.
That's very important because, especially like in the context of a comedy club, like your whole purpose is to sell booze for them and mozzarella sticks, right? Like they make money off of people coming to their place and spending money. That's what justifies them paying you. So if you come and nobody knows who you are, I mean, they might just come out for the experience, but like if you have to be a draw, like to be a real headliner. Like there's people that close. That's what I would say is I close. Yeah. I'm not a headliner. Right. Like people aren't coming out specifically to see me yet, you know. Or if I'm working with somebody that is like a headliner, like a nationally, like, you know, people who've been on TV a bunch and stuff like that, I would be featuring for them. I usually open for them. So I do both. Is
there anybody that's like they call you? I'm assuming it's a community just like anything else, and it's like,
sure.
Oh, if you're available, like, is there someone that you recently worked with that is like, oh, that's pretty big? And
I worked with Pops, John Witherspoon from Friday.
Nice.
Like, he's always fun. I've worked with him a few times, and he's great.
And he's like, he'll call you up and be like, hey, I'm in this city. Are you around?
We worked together, and then he was just like, we had a fun time, and then it was just like, hey, you know, hey, I'd like to work with you again, and then I got like 2 more.
Is he like trying to sleep with you, or?
No, he's like 67.
Oh, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, black guys kind of like that sort of thing, you know. Like, I mean, you know, like you're a black guy's type, right?
Am I?
I don't know. I feel like you get hit on a lot by black guys.
Okay.
No.
This is it took a weird turn.
I mean, I'm just like, I'm saying, like, I don't know, like, what is, like, is that, do you leverage being a woman in the industry? I mean, like, is that part of it? Like, I'm not trying to.
I don't.
I mean, maybe I am trying to.
I don't pull this sex card, like, because I'm not that type, you know.
Right. I'm
like a tomboy,
right?
You know, like, so I've always been one of the guys ones. So I can hang,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to fuck everybody around me. That's not my jam.
But girls do that shit
for sure. No, I see it all the time.
Yeah,
I see it all the time.
I mean, women use that as a leverage. I mean, I'm saying all women, but
it's just one more thing that you can't, like. I'm charming and likable, so I use those attributes to me, you know. But yeah, if people want to have sex with you, I mean, it's just like being mad at somebody for being pretty. It doesn't make any sense. That's just another skill that they have. Like, that's just another attribute
gift
that they have.
That they have. They're born with that. There's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, exactly. What are you gonna get mad? Oh, fuck your face, your fucking cheekbones.
I'm sorry, Carmen.
You know, exactly. Like, I'm not. Like, but it's still you can't not acknowledge that it's there and it's something that helps, you know. But that's always been part of my thing too. Is I've always wanted to be seen like past my sex, so I've always tried to make myself seem like sex isn't even an option. Sure. You know, that doesn't always work. You know, I still have the parts, so sometimes I still get, you know, people that are like, hey, you know, and I'm like, come on, buddy.
Right.
No. Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're working together right now.
Yeah.
Are there certain parts of the country that you work more than others? Like, is there some places where you're like super popular? Like, I
do the Midwest a lot. I really like the Midwest. Yeah. Midwest, Southeast are my two like main regions. that I do really well in.
Yeah.
And I do well in the Northeast too. I've been to the Pacific Northwest, but I haven't ventured out there much. I mean, I don't go to Kansas or Montana very often. I mean, there's just not enough people. So there's like a big patch. But I mean, I've performed in I think like 36 states. 36 or 37 states.
Are you trying to get all of them?
Sure. That'd be great.
It's like part of your bucket list.
Yeah, why not?
All 50.
Let's get them all.
You just did laughs, right?
Yeah,
I saw the clip.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the clip, and we're going to show it to everybody.
Yeah, I did 3 episodes this season.
Nice.
I did their first season, and then I did 3 episodes in the third season.
So, wow, so you got featured 3 times this past season. That's awesome. That's really cool.
they're only like a minute.
But it's still cool because they're showing your bits, right?
Yeah.
And I like that last. I like the last bit that you shared on your Facebook wall. It was about your dad because I've been over.
So you've seen it firsthand.
I've seen it.
Yeah. So
but it's awesome.
Dating's always been weird for me. I think it's just because I come from an odd family. Like my parents, they've been together for 30 years, you know, and my dad still hits on my mom, which I think is adorable. But he only does it when I have company over, and that's weird, you know, like, way to perv it up, Pops. Make dinner uncomfortable. And it's hard to get mad at him because he looks like the Dos Equis guy. You know what I'm talking about? The most interesting man in the world. My dad looks exactly like that dude. He's got the slick back, salt and pepper hair, grizzled face, Latin accent. He's smooth, right? I like watching the kid work. He's got game. You know what I mean? But it's creepy because it's my mommy's catcalling from the kitchen. It's uncomfortable. We sit down to eat. He's like, "Hey, baby, you're looking really good tonight, mama. I can't wait till you load the dishwasher later. I get to stare at your butt. You're looking good." I'm like, "Hey, tone that down, would you?" No. Give me another glass of wine. I'm going to nail this chick tonight.
Yeah.
But I think it's hilarious. Is that like most of your shit is just most of your comedy is based off of your family? What is it? Where do you?
It's mainly some of it's off my family, some of it's just off of opinions. It's usually based off of something that happened to me,
right?
Or some kind of situation, and then I go into like my thoughts. Like that's the whole thing. I've never been, and I'm not against anybody that does this. I've just never been into like talking about being abroad, you know.
Right,
so I'd like to talk about myself like as an individual,
right?
Just because I think that you can relate.
Everybody can relate to just being a person,
right? So it's like I try to do stuff that unifies people, not like compartmentalizes. This is how we're all different.
It's kind of interesting because that's the approach I take when I'm acting. It's about the human condition,
right?
At the end of the day, right? I mean, like, how are you going to impact somebody? How are you going to be memorable? You got to how are you going to relate to them? So, like for instance, like with my dad, I think everybody has a story, like either their parents or their friends' parents that have had where they're just, it's gross to see your parents be affectionate and stuff like, which is so weird because you would want that, Sure. What's the opposite? You want them to be fighting all the time. That's horrible too. So it's like we're never satisfied with the relationship of our parents, and unless we just don't even know about it. Right. But my dad is very, very vocal about wanting to bang my mom on her, and especially when I have company. Does he do it more when he knows people are over? When he knows me, when he's putting on a show. He's totally doing totally on purpose. That's the other reason why it's so aggravating. It's like, really? You're gonna perv it up now that we have guests? Because like when nobody's here, you don't. Yeah. You're like, I'm gonna go work on the boat. Yeah, I'm out. I'm gonna go watch Narcos again. I'm gonna go watch some documentary about Pablo Escobar. I love your parents. They're really great. They're amazing people. I like them a lot better now. Now that you're like 3,000 miles away? Well, not even like that. No, not like that. But more my dad for that. But just because he's a bit much all the time. Yeah. But no, just I think because I'm an adult now, and so it's they're less of authority figures, which I have a really hard time with. Sure. So now they're just like they're adults that I seek counsel from, and I talk. They're still my parents. I don't ever think about my parents like as my friends. Like some people have their my best friend. Like I don't talk to them. I still talk to them and respect them like they're my parents. Right. But I have I think there's more of a mutual respect there now. It's like the authority And I feel like, I don't know, that's a lot of artists and entertainers.
For sure.
Like, it's like we don't want to work for anybody else, so it's like, what can I do where...
I don't want to be told what to do.
Right.
I don't want
And
to be told
as
what
a
to
comedian, like, you're everything, right? You're your own manager. You
Yeah,
do your own
especially
bookings.
since I'm at the point before all of that stuff.
Right.
Before having somebody do all the work for you.
Right.
You know, so I still do all of it.
But you've been, ever since we were younger, you were doing your own graphics, you were
Mhm.
doing Photoshop, you were using the camera,
Mhm.
and now, do you feel like you have a leg up on other comedians? Because these guys are not, a lot of people are not good at, social media and playing the game and
Right.
the presentation of it all and making it seem like a show. Do you feel like that definitely works in your benefit?
For sure, I think it helps. I think anything helps, though. Some people. I have a friend of mine who's like a sound engineer, and he's a
Right.
comic, so his audio is always on point.
For
Prestige.
his shows or...
For shows, if he wants to do an album, he could record it
And it's
himself.
amazing.
And
Yeah.
if he wants to do voiceover work, he can do that too. He can set up his own stuff. Because
Right.
that's what he. So I think everybody ends up bringing their own kind of little bits of talents and skills and stuff like that into it.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of always been like, I was a photographer before I did stand up, so I still like it. I still go to shows and just take pictures of comics just
Yeah.
because I like to. And it's always like a fun challenge to be able to capture moments that are happening so fast.
Do you ever like take those pictures and a comic that you don't know, like reach out to him and say, "Hey, I snagged this picture of you"?
For sure, I did. I took pictures of Alonzo Bowden and.
I ran into him. I've actually served
He's
him
great.
when I first moved here at Boston Market, and I recognized him from The Girl Next Door.
Mhm.
He's like the guard in that.
Yeah,
And I'm like, "Hey, you're this guy."
He's
like,
great.
"Yeah." He seems
he's
like
so funny.
yeah, he's a cool dude. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Dude, like he's always been really humble and always nice and doesn't act like he's not pretentious,
No. And that's the thing that I've noticed, especially about being out here, is I had such a high expectation of like the level of douche.
And I know, to cut you off, I felt like you for a long time were like, LA, like you had this stigma about it, and I think now that you're here, you're like, it's fucking LA. It's like,
It's cool.
yeah,
It's way cooler than I thought it was going to be.
Right.
Because I thought that. I thought it was just going to be like people were going to open with how many Twitter followers they have and stuff
Sure.
like that, and it was going to be. And there is that here. But I just know so many people here already, and none of them are like that.
Right.
And even and they're all at different levels of what you would call success, I guess.
Right.
And
everybody's
for
got
the
their own
most
journey.
part, everybody's cool.
Yeah.
Everybody's cool. And I think maybe it might be just because they were cool before,
Right.
but and nobody's changed. I hear that. I hear like sometimes people whenever they pop, like they change.
Right.
But I haven't really experienced that yet. So.
And you mentioned Twitter followers and people throwing that out there. Like, do you put do you stress your social media? Like, do you put effort into that?
I try to. I don't know what the formula is. I think I feel like I think you have to throw more money at it. To be honest.
You just gotta like you think paying for it is kind of like one of the things that
No,
people do.
not like
pay
paying for followers. No,
or
I don't mean like that. But I mean like investing in, because there's people
Content.
content. You have to be constantly. So I try to do that. I try to create content all the time, but I
Right.
just that's the part where I just
It's
don't.
a hustle.
I don't know. Yeah, it is.
I mean,
a
it's like it's its own job. You have to do it. If you're going to do that, you have to be constantly putting in content. And then
But that's
if you
what I
get
mean,
people,
like-
they're going to have to they're going to be expecting
yeah.
content from you. If you fall off, then it's like this person's not doing shit.
Right. But that's the other thing too is I think sometimes people will just pay for somebody to manage their social media to build it.
Right.
And then you have like a concise list of things that you need to do in order to build it.
Right.
I just don't have the money for that yet.
Sure.
So I just try to like
Is there something that you do like all the time? Like, all right, I'm going to do that. I know I'm going to make this post or I'm going to do this show. So it's like you're pretty consistent about that. Like, is there something that you absolutely always post?
I always post about everything that I'm doing, and I always post I like just because I lived on the road for like 5 years, so I'm just so used to posting about where I'm at and where I'm going and what I'm doing and stuff,
Right.
and just kind of showcasing the adventure. Like I like the adventure. The adventure's I'm big on adventure. Huge on
I mean, I
adventures.
just went to New York. It's so exciting when you're on the road.
Mhm.
Regardless of where you're going, you could be in the most obscure town.
Yeah.
and it's like awesome.
You can make some killer content in Paducah, Kentucky. It's possible,
Right?
You know?
Yeah. Right.
You wouldn't think so, but it's quite possible. You know, or you're in Omaha, Nebraska, and you find this like old candy store / antique store / weird milkshake shop. You're like, all right, you guys,
yeah,
let's get
have
weird.
you seen this?
Yeah, exactly, and it was actually really fun. You know,
Yeah.
so it's just I do a lot of that. I do a lot of like sharing. And I think that would be something that I would really want to do is like a travel show, just because I'm good at it.
Right.
You know.
That'd be fun, like a comedy traveling show where it's like you're mixing the two and like making fun of stuff along the way.
For sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Nobody steal that.
Nobody steal that shit. Like, seriously, don't do that. That's not cool. So we're talking this whole thing. The reason why I'm doing this is because it's the struggling artist. I'm inviting people that I believe in, that I've been following for a long time. You're one of my dear and close friends. I love you.
I love you too.
Oh, no, I really do love you though.
No, seriously.
Okay.
Not just because the camera's on. Like I do love you.
And like I want to I want to educate people on not just you see all the everybody Googles somebody's success stories. There's so many like successful people that have interviews, but it's like I feel like there's the in between is like the come up is not documented.
Right. There's always like on my end on a comedian's end, there's always a documentary about people doing open mics, and then there's always documentaries about comedy from people who are famous.
Right.
Nobody ever really talks about the part in the middle, which is all of the work.
Right, and that's where I'm like, this is where nobody sees this.
Yeah.
Everybody just sees overnight success, and that's not necessarily.
And that's part of the reason why I think everybody thinks they could just do it. Everybody thinks they could just be an actor or a writer or anything creative, and it's just like. No, it's way harder than we make it look.
Yeah.
It's way harder than we make it look, you know? Sure, you know, you'll get on, you know, you'll do a movie or a play or something, and they just only ever see the end product. They don't see you...
The 2 months or the year before...
Yeah, of you preparing for it.
Right.
You know, they don't see... well, I mean, mine's pretty easy. I just bullshit with my friends. That's the way...
Yeah, but
they don't
that's
see
putting
me
in
doing,
time. That's there's habit to that.
They don't see me interrupting people's seafood dinner trying to force comedy on them. Right. You know? And that's the part that's where like a lot of the cool shit happens. Those are all the stories that like people publish later.
And as you're doing it, do you ever sit there and think, okay, this is the struggle. I'm not making any money, but you're completely enjoying it. Like
absolutely, I think that's the give and take. Is like
right because you're like I wouldn't have my life any other way because I'm entertaining. I'm doing what I dreamed about doing.
Plus, it's like fun. Like it's fun.
Yeah.
Like it's not a job at all, even when it's awful.
This is fun. Like
this is great. I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, so one thing you have to do every day to feed your artist, like meditation, is it writing? Like what is it? What do you have to do every day? Like what is it something that
you usually get on stage. I have to get on stage.
You try to make an effort, like wherever you can get time in, you get time in.
I have to. Well, I'm at the point now. I'm in so deep. I can't go a long time without being on stage. Like I turn into a monster.
You get pissed, or you're angry,
I'm just irritable. Like just turn into a real bitch.
So it is. It's
for sure.
It's therapeutic for you.
For sure. Especially if things are really hard. Like sometimes I'll try to not. I'll just be like I just need to pull away. But I always feel better after I get off stage.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Like I remember probably one of the hardest sets I ever had to do. I was in Cincinnati and I had never worked there before. I didn't know anybody in that town, and it was like an hour before I went on stage. I got a call and found out that my friend of like 12 years died, and like shot to the head, like a real awful. We don't know if it's suicide. Like we didn't know anything, and so I had to go and make people laugh. Like, and I was
and kind of make yourself laugh. Right,
well, kind of keep it. At that point, I was just trying to keep it together and do my job at the same time, you know. And that's the part that I think it is where we do have to work, you know, because it doesn't matter where you are emotionally, how you feel, what's going on in your life. None of that matters. The show matters, you know. So it's that's the element I think of sacrifice that most people don't have to. You can't call into work, you know.
Right.
If somebody dies in your family, you work a 9 to 5, you take a day off.
Sure.
You know, we don't get that as
the show must go on.
Exactly. So I think that's like the give and take where it's
and since you need it every day, you want to do it every day.
Yeah.
Some days, obviously, there's not a stage or a mic open. What are some of the creative ways that you find a way to get some time on stage? You know, like how do you just call somebody and be like, listen, I just need, can I get 3 minutes? Like, can I get 5 minutes? Like, how?
Well, especially here, there's always
Somewhere to go.
There's always time here. But when I was out on the road, I would do that. If I had a couple days off, I would try and find a mic that was like within an hour driving.
Is there like a site that you go to?
No, it's all been, for me, I'm certain there is, but for me, it's all been mainly word of mouth.
Right.
You know?
And so you know enough comics to be like, hey, I'm over here. Do you just kind of trading? Oh, there's a good spot over here. Check it out.
Hey, there's a mic over here. There's a show over here. I could probably call somebody and see if I could get you a few minutes, like that whole thing. And like and that just keeps building and building to the point, like I said, like from being on the road for so long, there's this huge community. So now it's like when I go back to Minneapolis, it's like coming to a home.
Right.
You know, I go there and there's a bunch of people that I know. I know I can get on stage.
You know, a place to crash where they put you up, or most places put you up, or.
I mean, if you're doing like a comedy club gig, they always put you up for the days that you're working.
Right.
Some independent gigs will put you up. Some of them won't.
Right.
The independent stuff is way more like you're like a traveling band. You just you have to figure it out on your own.
Or if not, you're sleeping in the car.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, again, charming, non-threatening. I don't.
You don't ever. You haven't.
I think I slept in my car once.
Once.
And
you've been doing this for.
So now like almost
11 years?
9 years.
9 years.
Well, I guess this year I did once as well, so twice. And I don't get some comics will get hotel rooms. I think I've gotten hotel rooms. For you? It is. Yeah. I know enough people. I can couch surf. I think I've only gotten a hotel room maybe like 3 times, and it was just a bone in. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, so you gotta get it in.
I'm a grown lady. I can't just be boning in my car all the whole time.
Sure. Yeah. No. So. Yeah. Totally. So, if you could give one, or if you could, not necessarily one, if you give anybody that's watching that's an aspiring comedian, actor, a piece of advice, just getting into the industry, or just kind of like testing the waters, what would you say?
I think as far as being an artist and being a good one, I think it's a perfect balance of delusion and self-awareness, you know? Because and when the balance is off, that's when you get the douchey guy who's arrogant but doesn't have the talent to back it and doesn't, you know what I mean? Or the other way, where their self-hating is so ridiculous that their talent never really gets to get showcased.
Man,
so it's just, it's really just about like constantly, balance. Yeah, it's about a balance, and it's about checking yourself too. You know, like because you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes. Even now, like I made a mistake recently that was awful.
Oh my god, that's right. You just did a show.
I did a thing. We can't talk about it.
Okay, right. We can't say the name
for legal reasons. But I did a thing on a show, and because I posted about it, they pulled the episode, and I had to give them money back that they paid me for it.
Okay, so you did this show. Mm-hmm. You posted on social media somewhere that you did this show. And how you got?
Because I fabricated.
So you just completely lied to get on the show.
Yeah.
Right. We can say that.
Yeah, I got. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you lied, right? I mean, you got me into something. I did the play this past summer, and I invited you. You came out. Thank you for coming, by the way.
Yeah.
And fuck it, I can say it. Samuel French owns the rights to this play, and you posted on, I think it was Facebook or something like that. I think it was Facebook. Or
I was just promoting the play. Hey, my buddy's doing this play. You got to see it. It's great.
And really, I'm to blame because I did, and this is part of being a struggling artist. Like, we decided to do 6 shows, or we decided to do 8 shows, but we only bought 6 days or six nights for the rights. Mm-hmm. And clearly on the program it has the dates, and you posted on it. Samuel French sent me their legal team sent me an email saying, hey, you did 8 shows, you only bought 6, you owe us money.
And
So you and
pay
social media, the moral of the story is don't post shit.
anything ever.
Just gets you in trouble because I ended up having to pay.
And that's what
I had
sucks.
to
Is
pay
like I
both.
thought it would.
And I'm
I
like,
thought
it's
it
a
would be
free
good promotion.
show.
You know,
Yeah.
and in hindsight, it was a like it was a mistake for sure.
Right.
I messed up and
Because I'm assuming you had a non-disclosure agreement.
yeah, which sucks because like I thought it was gonna be like promoting it.
Sure, yeah, getting people to watch.
You know, and I did,
And it wasn't
blanked. I totally blanked on the non-disclosure, like because the episode hadn't aired yet, so I totally blanked on that, and it was a rookie move. You know, this was like one of the first things I've ever done.
Yeah. Whenever I go on set, I like talk to the makeup lady first. I'm like, hey, can I take pictures?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, but you can't post the name of the show or whatever. I just did something. So you can't say what show or whatever. And it's like, it's kind of bullshit because it's like, hey, I'm here on set.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of wants, what set?
Yeah.
Well, I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
But it's like a weird like fine line because you're supposed to be constantly
Promoting
yourself
right?
Because that's you know.
But then the producers or the talent
you can't really say
what it is.
You know,
yeah.
Or even if you can say what it is, you can't say what you're doing. So it's just it's weird. Like if I was doing a show, I'm supposed to fall off the face of the earth for 3 months, and then
all of a sudden.
Yeah, exactly. So
hey,
what am I supposed to, like, what kind of content?
Well, I mean, and I feel like part of social media and doing that too is because I've done stuff in the past where I worked really hard for a year to make something and you're getting people to come over and like the page and then sometimes some of this stuff falls through and then you have people hitting up going, hey, whatever happened to that?
What happened to that thing? And that sucks too. So it's like, it's trying to find a fine line between like, and I always feel weird about that. Like whenever opportunities happen, I don't like to post about it too early.
Right.
So that's the other reason why I was just really kicking myself in the ass for. It was just a really dumb mistake. And I think what I feel worst about is like I built kind of a relationship with the producer, you know, and I really liked him. Like we text and stuff and talk, and like he helped, like he's helping
hang
out
afterwards or hang out offset.
Just like help me out. As far as like ways to make money in town and stuff, like just really cool in this, you know, I cost them a lot of money. And that really sucks.
Yeah, you did.
I cost them a whole episode.
Yeah, they wasted a whole day. But I don't understand why they have to scrap the whole day based off of a post because it's like, well, people are going to catch wind that this they want to make sure that it looks real.
Right.
And so if people catch wind that it's, hey, this is completely fake.
Right.
Which everything is.
Which is weird because I found out
everything.
about the thing on Craigslist.
Right.
You know?
You wouldn't think it would be that serious.
And it was the way it was written, they were looking for real. And real was in quotes. So I gave them a real in quotes.
You went method.
I did. And I did, and I cried on the TV and everything, and it was, man, that's the other thing that's really upsetting is when you fuck up like that, is I'm never going to get to see that footage, ever.
You took the approach of like an actress, right?
Yeah.
So, is that like the end game for you as far as a comedian? Is it like you're doing comedy as a way to act, or are you doing comedy because that's your first passion and that's what you want to do?
That's my sharpest tool, and I want that to always be my sharpest tool. It's my favorite.
Right.
I enjoy acting because it's really fun.
Right.
I like it, and I like voiceover, and I like all of those things. I like not being myself. I like being characters and stuff like that. But I also, I mean, you come to a point where you have this voice that you have, and so now you want to use it all the time because now the older you get, the more opinionated you are because you have more knowledge and more experience. So now I just want to talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about, and I can't do that everywhere for a decent wage without doing other things.
Is there an end game to comedy? Like, I mean, like it's evolving as you mature and you change as a person and you learn and you go through things.
I think it varies on the person. Yeah. You know, I think some people like I mean, you have like the Rob Schneiders who did stand up in the very beginning and then went to sketch and movies.
Right.
And now he's coming back to stand up. so you have those people. You have people who didn't even really do stand-up before, but are now doing stand-up. And then you have people like Kevin Hart, who
He's just killing it.
he does all of it. He does all of it. And
That's one of those things that I can't talk about.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. You see what I just did there?
Yeah, I did.
Because I didn't talk about it.
You did.
And I guess lastly, I think, wrap it up. The show is about the struggling artist.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying is you do things like that. Like the mistake that I made, I was doing it because I was like, I need to make money to stay here and to keep struggling here.
This is a good content.
So it's by any means necessary.
Right.
But
yeah,
I messed up.
I'm sorry.
I am too. I feel I'm wearing the egg on my face.
What does it mean to be a struggling artist, or what does it mean to embrace the struggle to you?
I think it just means doing whatever you. I mean, I've done other things too that I don't think I should say.
Right.
But just to be able to keep doing it.
That's it. Just keep doing it no matter what. That's what it means to embrace the struggle. Like
pretty much.
You're like you're in the middle of this shit.
Not,
You're like, I have no money, and like, what is it?
What's this for acting? People get real bummed out. They don't get a call back. They don't get this. They don't get these things. And it happens with comics too. Like, we didn't get on that TV show. We didn't get the gig we wanted. We didn't get the money we wanted. All of that stuff. But at the same, I think it's just constantly having to remind yourself. But I'm still cheating. I'm still I'm still cheating at the struggle isn't so much of a struggle because of how fun it is what we're doing.
Mm.
So to remember that, I think, is what keeps you going. It's in the middle of the day. I'm not at a job right now.
Right.
This is what I'm doing.
Right.
This is what I get to do with my time. And I think that's the other thing too, is you get the free, a lot more freedom to do whatever you want with your time.
Right.
And I think that's worth struggling for,
Yeah.
I think what you can, it's just not stopping. I think that's the thing, is because it's never not a grind, no matter what level it's at, until you get into the top, 7% of people.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Steve Buscemi is still going out for shit. You know what I'm saying?
He's still auditioning.
Exactly. Totoro is going out for shit still. People are still. It's still constantly work.
I love that you mentioned Totoro.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's phenomenal.
He's so amazing.
He's so good.
And that's what it is. Is even if you have money, you still want to do it.
Right.
And I think that's what the struggle, I think, kind of reminds you that we did all of this. We went through all of this shit to be able to do this freely.
Right.
And that's what I think. I think that's what I think it is I just want to be able to do this without having to worry.
Carmen.
Yes.
Thank you. I love you so much.
I love you too.
I'm not only one of your closest friends, but I'm a fan. I really appreciate you coming and hanging out with me in my office here.
Your office / bedroom.
Right. Right.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, hopefully you'll come back again, right?
Absolutely.
Sweet. Seriously, continued success. You're killing it. I'm so proud of you.
I'm here in the middle,
And
enjoying it.
We'll embrace the struggle together.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.